180 knots speed which is required for liftoff. It lifts off well, and then something happens. So if you're saying that sabotage is one of the possibility, then obviously the corollary is that sabotage, if it happened after liftoff. Is that right conclusion to draw?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Because nothing happened during the time of takeoff. At the time of V1, the speed was enough for him to continue takeoff, and he did actually take off. But the very fact that he did not even put the gear up, because the gear could not go up actually at that point in time. That is why the gear was left down. And the sabotage angle, I'm not saying it has happened in the cockpit because of the switches. It could be in the system itself, in the engineering, the design of the aircraft. It could have been tampered with, where the fuel can be cut off immediately after takeoff.
So you mean to say that sabotage could have been programmed beforehand, and that is kicked in immediately on liftoff?
Correct. Absolutely right. That's possible.
That takes the whole thing into a very different domain, where you are thinking of a cyber operation to carry out this kind of tinkering with the system, because typically I would assume that the aircraft is offline, it's not on internet grid. So, I mean, how does it work out? That's a very interesting domain we are getting into. Mr. Wadia, I have a couple of more questions to you, but I'm told...
this is a very interesting point, Abhishek. A lot of people asking that question. Maybe we want him to complete that and then we'll take a break. Let's do that.
Let's do that. Okay.
Yeah,
so, Mr. Wadia, help us explain. If that sabotage had to happen, and if it was not a mechanical, manual, post-liftoff sabotage, then in the case of systems of the aircraft which is offline, which is not on an internet grid, how does that sabotage happen?
It doesn't have to be on the internet grid, and it doesn't have to be done by a cyber attack. The aircraft system itself can be programmed by specialists. This aircraft is so complicated, and the fuel system is so complicated by various inputs coming in, and is made fail-safe. However, a person is totally familiar with the system, he can probably manage. Now, how it can be managed, I am not competent to qualify or to comment on it, but it can be it can be manipulated in a way where the fuel immediately after takeoff can be cut off to the engines. And therefore, it is not cut off to one engine, it is cut off to both the engines. If it was a coincidence, it could be one engine. Why both the engines almost at the same time? So that is an angle which needs to be studied. And because the AIB has not referred to sabotage, it is because they have not found any clear evidence to show that there has been sabotage.
Also, Mr. Wadia, in the earlier part of our conversation, you were saying that if the engine has to be rebooted or revived, it takes just 8 seconds once that press of a button happens or the pilot takes that call. Now,
no, it's not a question of 1 second of a